magnet motor, and I was sat there thinking about it, and then I remembered this thing. Do you remember this thing? Well, most of it's missing actually, because I took all the coils and the actuators, the concentrics and all that stuff out, because they're just floating about now. But yeah, this is something which I spent quite a bit of money on because of the plexiglass, whatever. It's got quite a layer of dust on it right now. That's dust. It's been in my bedroom window actually for well, I don't know how long actually. It's been in my bedroom window. I stuck it there because I knew where to put it. It's been there for quite a long time while I've been doing all my other projects, and I kind of forgot all about it. And I'm thinking about the magnet generator, and I was thinking about the rotor system, how the actuators need to work. It occurred to me that I need to use magnets which are both round and rectangular, because I need to adjust the timing, because it's quite complicated. So if I get this segments on here, I was thinking about doing 3 actually. Obviously I need the rest of the magnets to do this one because I don't have enough magnets, and I was thinking about doing a 3-some instead of a 4-some actually. I have printed a 4th segment, which is here, but I've been doing a lot of thinking about the spacing, because you see, if I try to cram 4 in, I am going to be I'm going to have a slight problem with the spacing for the actuator points, because I need to have a transitional phase between one pole and the next pole and so on. So I thought, well, maybe it's best if I stick with a 3-segment system, because then I'll have an equal amount of space between each of the segments, and that will give me the transitional point where I can just transition from one pole to another on the actuators, so that we can switch to a different pole to repel that one and attract that one. Then when we get over top dead center, which is basically right over this part here, when we get to this section, because that's where the flux lines are folded around, to actually transition from one pole to another. So when we get to this point, this is basically top dead center, it would transition to another pole, which gives it a kick towards this section here, where I need it then to transition to another pole. So that's another top dead center there, and then we transition from that pole, then we go all the way through to this one where we have another top dead center on there. You get the idea anyway. So I've got to have a timing disc, and it requires different size magnets, and a round the big 20mm round magnets for the middle section, and it requires 8mm wide magnets, which I can either stick on the end, or sideways in the midsections here, because there's a very tight area, and the 20mm magnets are too big, and the flux is good. I'm not going to be able to get the transitional point accurately enough, so I need to use smaller magnets on the magnetic timing disc, which actuates the concentrics, which I explained previously. So anyway, I've been thinking about this, and then I thought, well, how am I going to mount all this? And I'm thinking, well, it's going to use a lot of plastic if I print all the mounting assembly. And then I thought, what about that old thing I used to use, which is this thing? Because these 2 rotors are actually full of magnets, right? You can't see them because they're actually embedded. So I'll have to split this thing. I'll have to split this grey section off, and the back section off, and then we've got some plexiglass rotors in there, which you can probably just see. They've got some Captain tape running around these, but there's plexiglass in there holding it. There's actually rectangular magnets. That's these magnets. It's got a lot of these very strong magnets in there. There's a lot in there, so I can salvage them and reuse them for the timing disc rotors. So I want to get them out. And there's also a whole bunch more of these big 20mm magnets, in there. Sorry about the ball bearing at the moment. Yeah, but the big, get off. Alright, so there's big 20mm magnets as well. So there's a whole bunch of these in them rotors, and they're not doing anything. They're just sat there. They're just waste. So rather than spending a load more money, let's just see if I can pick that ball bearing up. Yeah. Right, so rather than spending a load more money ordering a load more neodymium N52s of the 8mm by 2mm by 25mm, which is what's in there, I thought, I can get them out of there and recycle them. So that's going to save me a few pennies. And then I'm thinking, can I use this frame for the magnet motor? And I'm thinking, why not? Because I've got drive system, got my drive shaft, got my pulley, I've got the little motor on here, which I probably won't need because it's a magnet motor. So the way I did this, I 3D printed this, was that these two magnet drums are actually keyed. If you look, the midsection is keyed, so that when you bring them together you lock in. So let me just pull that back a bit. Which one is this one? Well, if I move that back, these come apart. I 3D printed all these, and they're actually keyed together. Look, like there's a bit of slop there. So this one keys into that. They're all basically designed. I designed it so I can add more of these and space these rotors further apart. Very useful to have that, but I don't know if I'm going to use it for the magnet motor. But I've got this already built, so why not make use of it? Because the timing disc obviously will need to be adjustable anyway, but it gives me flexibility in the width. I've got a lot of room in here, and I can take them brass shims out if I need to do. And I've also got some support structures which I can use. So I'm thinking, well, I know this used to flop around a lot, but it won't use nearly as much magnetic force on it as it used to do. But so you bring these together like this and lock them together like this, and then the both will turn together now. You know, they're locked together. So, have I broken a leg off that one? It looks like I have. There's a gap on that one. Looks like I've broken one of the pins off. Don't know what happened there. I must have done. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Probably won't need that extra one anyway, so I can take the broken one out. What I've got to do is dismantle these rotors, which I kind of feel sad about. You remember I had these rollers on these red sections where it prevented these discs from coming too close to the actual generator coils, which I used to use on this thing. We're going back 5 or 6 years now. I think, I don't know, lose track. I can't think. Time just seems to be, I don't know. I just can't seem to keep track of time these days. It's either going by really quickly for me, or it's not going by fast enough. I don't know. Sometimes it's like it drags on and on, like when I'm waiting for stuff, waiting for parts to arrive. That's when it drags on, and then other times it accelerates when I'm having fun. So I get completely confused about how much time it takes me to get anything done, you see. Yeah, so I'm going to be taking these apart anyway. So I've basically got to split them out and get the magnets out and design new rotors. Actually, let me think. Technically, I only need one. No, I actually need two. Yeah, obviously I need one for the segments, so the segments need to be mounted on something. I might be able to recycle these rotors as well. Instead of having to print them, I could literally glue my magnet segments onto these rotors. But I've got to get the magnets out first because they'll interfere with the magnets that are in here, obviously. So why not? I recycle it all as best I can, and then I don't have to print a load more discs, rotors and everything. So yeah, that seems like a good plan. It saves me a fortune in plastic. You know, just be able to recycle them, and they're pretty They're in true. They're fairly in true. There's a bit of a wobble on them, but there's a bit of a. It was an earlier prototype. There's a little bit of a wobble on it, but yeah, they're balanced. That's the main thing. They're fairly well balanced. That one's a bit weird. This one's a bit of a. Oh my god, what's happened to that one? Did I drop this thing? There's a shaft bent. I don't know if the shaft's bent or what, but no, the shaft's not bent. Well, it just looks weird. The outside it looks warped a bit. Yeah, it's definitely. I'll probably scrap this rotor if it's that badly out of shape, if it's that badly warped. This one's in pretty good shape. This one's not wobbling too much, I don't think. I don't know. I think over the years while it's been sat there for a long period of time, the plastic has dried out when it's gone in a weird shape. The sun might have caught it as well. That could have caused some issues. Well, yeah, I could rebalance them anyway. But anyway, I certainly could use them temporarily as a mock and then build better rotors later on. So, yeah, it'll be something as a mock-up temporarily. I never finished this in a way because these brackets, I'd put holes in them to drill and tap them to the plexiglass, but I never actually fixed them. I used double-sided tape instead. So that's a good thing because I don't have loads of holes in the wrong places, and there's bearings in here as well, which I kind of forgot about. So yeah, I can repurpose it. Yeah. So it's been stood for so long that this rubber band has become petrified. It's funny. Look at this rubber band. This is a rubber band. It's kind of gone hard. You can hear it. I mean, it actually breaks. It'll break when I bend it. You watch this. Let's just see what happens when I bend this rubber band. It's supposed to be bendable. Let's try stretching it on this thing. Oh, yeah, it's definitely had its day. That, yeah, rubber bands. They just some of these cheap ones anyway. They just get petrified after a while. So yeah, just a little bit of stuff I'm thinking about. I could use this frame and this setup just to hold everything, and yeah, why not? I mean, it's fairly rigid with these brackets, especially if these brackets are mounted and screwed to the thingamajig properly. Yeah, I don't like the way it's sitting precariously on the edge of the table like that. It's off the edge right now. I need to put it on the floor really. So yeah, I better put it on the floor actually because it's gonna. God, it's heavy. It's these rotors. They weigh a ton. Oh dear me, that's heavy. It's all the magnets that are in them. There's such a lot of magnets in there. Oop! Did I just break that? A space. I think I just cracked my spacer on here. This plastic 3D printed spacer just cracked. Oh well. That's what happens when stuff is left for a long time. It just dries out. Yeah. So yeah, I might just use that or think about it. It depends, but it would certainly save me some plastic anyway. Anyway, I think that's it. Oh yeah, I'm still waiting for magnets. I did contact the eBay seller in China, because the magnets that he sent me, these are the ones he sent me. They're too small. They're just too small for my segments. They're just miles out. Each one of these magnets is about 1.7 millimeters. It's supposed to be 3 millimeters thick, and it's nowhere near that, and they're just too small. So we came to an agreement that he would refund me 50% the money I've spent on them, and I get to keep them, but I can't see an immediate use for them at the moment. I don't know what I'm going to use these for really. We'll have to see. They aren't particularly strong anyway. I think they're N35s or something ridiculous, but it wasn't so much the strength problem. I mean, the magnetic field strength doesn't really matter, really, because you see, they still actuate. When you get the an N52 next to them, it still kicks them along. If you watch, they still move. Yeah, so it was just the physical size was no good. So if I stick this N52 ball bearing magnet, let's find a shiny surface, stick it on there, they'll still move. Maybe not as good as the N52s, but they still work, but they're just too weak, they're too small, because the gaps will be too big. You see, when you put these in, when I'm using these in the segments, if they're too thin, it means I need twice as many, you see, and that doubles the cost as well. So because I need twice as many for the same distance through the segments, and I'd already worked out that I needed about a millimetre gap between each magnet, and having the extra thin ones would mean that the gap would be far excessive. And when you get the gap, when the gap's too big, you end up with a cogging problem. And it's important that the gap is very small, otherwise, so you don't get that cogging issue. Anyway, so I'm just waiting for that refund to come through so I can order the right size magnets at the moment. I've got a supplier in Scotland. He's got some. We're getting some more in stock soon, so I'll have to wait for him to get them in stock as well, because he's only got 20 in stock at the moment, and that's not enough. I need 30, and you get a discount when you order 3 times. Well, each one there's 10 magnets in each set, right? Each order. If you order a quantity of 3, that's 30 magnets, you get a discount of quite a good amount. So that's why I'm having to wait, because I'll get probably £4 knocked off if I order 30 magnets instead of 20. So I've got to wait now until he gets more, and he said next week. So anyway, we'll see. So see you later. Thanks for watching. If I get any more information on your updates, I'll let you know. I'm probably going to strip these magnets out and keep myself busy with that for a while. Right, bye for now.